Hello. The questions that we are going to cover today are: why did you switch to IT? And if you switched, why didn't you take up IT in the beginning itself? And what have you done from your graduation till now, till the time you have applied for this particular role? They are asking all this to allow you to talk about your interest in technology, which will help the hiring manager build a friendly relationship with you, which might make the interview more productive. They also need to understand what your goals are and what is the career path that you are trying to traverse. So they will also understand about your leadership potential, if you have any, and what is the value that you will add to the organization. They are also trying to understand whether you are a fit for the organization. Hiring managers might prefer candidates whose work philosophies and interests align with the organization's mission or values, because these candidates might find their work more satisfying and help the organization grow. So why the switch from non-IT to IT? If you're not from the IT field, then they usually ask you this question. This is one of the most likely questions that you would be asked. So here you have to convince them that I have always been curious, have been attracted towards coding, towards games, towards applications, how these applications work in the back end, also how I have been adding value or I have been learning a few languages outside of my curriculum because I have the interest, or because I have always wanted to become a developer. Now, in fact, they could even ask a computer science guy or an IT person why specifically you are interested in coding and why not networking or why not testing. So you could convince them that I have good analytical thinking, I have good logic, I always keep wondering how these things work, how apps work, how games work, how codes work, and that is why I have always been interested or I have always been inclined towards coding. Or from the beginning itself, I was curious about games and coding. That is why I decided to switch to IT. And to become industry ready, I joined a particular course or I kept upskilling myself. Or maybe I was inquisitive towards how apps work, how games work, and my inclination towards software development has decided or has helped me decide to switch into IT, and again to upgrade my skills or to get industry relevant, I have joined a particular course. Now, the fact that you're joining a particular course to upskill yourself shows that you are serious about it and you are not in the industry just because your friends are in the industry, just because of the money, just because of the scope, or just because of the IT boom. You could even say things like I had a particular computer language during my curriculum or during my project which excited me, and that is why I decided to switch to IT, and to become industry ready I joined this particular course. So my forever interest has been computer science. In first year of my engineering, I enjoyed learning C++. Moreover, I found that IT or computer science has wide and creative scope for the exposure. And that is why I decided to switch careers. Now, if you have had experience in a previous job or in an internship or some technology courses that contribute to your desire for this career path, you can describe them in your answer. So that also emphasizes your willingness to get into the industry, because it is an opportunity to combine my analytical skills with my creative abilities Working in technology will also allow me to learn new skills every day, use them to create unique programs for apps, games, and the scope is endless. I have been curious about working of games, apps from my early years. But I really discovered my passion for it when I participated in a game development app or a game development boot camp or a hackathon where I created my own code. Also, again, if there is a course or upskilling that you are doing, should be mentioned here to exhibit your keenness towards coding and your interest to get into the industry. You could also say that engineering branches are interrelated. Therefore, even though my core branch does not revolve around programming, I have always been interested in it, and by getting a job in IT, I will be able to learn more about coding and computer science in general, and in the future apply them in my discipline. So this is a multitude of answers that you could give for the question of why you are switching to IT. Now that you're showing so much keenness, they would wonder if you were really so highly interested in the industry, why didn't you take up IT in the beginning itself when you were choosing your engineering course? So there could be various reasons. Again, let's try to be honest here. So things like maybe a mechanical engineering or an electrical engineering or an electronics engineering are core branches. So when you were getting into engineering or when you were deciding your career path in the beginning, you may be confused or you may not have enough knowledge about the various branches. So you can clearly state there is no harm in saying that at that time, at the age of 18 years, I was confused or I was not very sure or I did not have the knowledge, and that is why I picked up a core branch. Or something like my parents suggested, a friend suggested, a well-wisher suggested, a teacher suggested that I take up a core branch, and then if I'm interested in something else, I can very well switch into that field. Also, maybe because you got admission in that particular branch, you did not get into IT or computer science because you did not have enough percentage or you did not clear the cutoff. So all these are genuine reasons as to why you have not been able to select IT as your core branch for your engineering. And the fact that again you are doing something about you upskilling yourself to get into the industry shows your keenness towards the field. If there is a gap between your graduation or your post-graduation and you applying for a job, they are obviously curious to know how you use this time, whether you utilized it or you wasted the time. So you need to reflect on what you have done. So there has to be introspection to find out what you did and how you spent this time. You will mention maybe that you tried to keep learning new things to keep up with the industry, which means maybe you did a few courses and then maybe you went for some interviews and you realized that you need to do more upskilling, and that is why you joined a particular course. Or if there are certain exams that you've taken and then you realize maybe your skills did not match the industry standard, and that is why you decided again to join a particular course, upgrade your skills, become industry relevant. So these are valid reasons as long as you know at what stage, what level you are and what is it that you need to do to get into the industry. Or maybe there are people who take competitive exams after their graduation, but if you do not clear them, then you decide to go back to your original career choice. Or maybe during that time you need to take care of a family member who is sick and you did not want to start the job search until things stabilized at home, or your parents needed your help in the family business which is now up and flourishing and has the required resources. Hence I had to take that break, and once everything stabilized I then got back to my career of my choice. Or maybe for financial reasons, you had to do a job that was outside of IT. And as soon as you were financially stable, you joined a course to upskill or to become industry ready. So that you were, or you could even say you were upskilling alongside that non IT job of yours to get into the career of your choice. So these are the multiple things that could be used as reasons, but again remember that if you have to give them honest answers. Otherwise, you'll get trapped in your own lies. So maybe an ailing family member needed you, or your family business needed you, or you had given yourself some time to take competitive exams, or you tried to apply but you did not get through it. So, whatever the reason be, you can honestly give them the reason. And this is how you will answer the questions that are commonly asked, but we get confused and we are not able to give convincing replies to them. Hope this helps. Thank you.